Merci, Monsieur le Président. Merci, Monsieur le Haché, pour votre participation. C'est très important pour les communautés francophones autochtones et les gens de la Nord-Ontario de comprendre l'origine de la crise financière à la Université Laurentienne. Mr. Haché, the last time we spoke, we talked about the decision that led up to plunging the university into the bankruptcy protection, which my colleague, Mr. Lefebvre, has said cut out the heart of the soul of Laurentian. And you said there were a number of meetings between the provincial and federal governments in the lead up to that. So in your meetings with the federal government, did you ask for financial help or support to avoid having to go into bankruptcy?
Thank you very much for the question. Indeed, we did have a number of meetings over the last year and the time leading up on both the provincial and federal side. And in all cases, we were quite transparent in the magnitude of our financial difficulties and the origin of our financial difficulties, and did make requests or ask if there was any way, in case response to your specific question, that there were any possibilities that we could receive assistance from the federal government. And as was already described a little bit, there were a number of suggestions that were made in terms of programs that would be available to us, some of which we continue to try and take advantage of.
Well, thank you for that, because what surprised me is Mr. Lefebvre said publicly that when you met with him, there was, quote, there was no ask, no number. So you're saying you actually asked, you put a plan on the table, because he said that the extent of the crisis was not made clear to them till the end of December, but you were meeting with them before that. So did you lay out an ask? And if not, why not?
So at the end of December, we were very transparent in the magnitude of the challenges that we had, and without making a specific ask, in highlighting the magnitude of the challenge, the gap that we had Laurentian, and looking for any way in which the federal government might be able to help us to bridge that gap.
But what about December 6th meeting with Mr. Lefebvre, and I think Mr. Serre was there? Didn't you tell them that you were in crisis?
As I said, we were fairly transparent all through the lead up to the process, both provincially and federally, and explaining in meetings that we had the magnitude of the challenges that we had at the university.
Okay, absolutely. So you were transparent. I appreciate that, of the magnitude, because this is an absolute crisis that happened. And what surprised me was that Madame Joly, the Minister of FedNor, who represents economic development as well as the official languages in the Franco-Ontarian community, said if she had been told, she would have intervened and worked with the province. Do you think it might have been better to have gone directly to Madame Joly than to the two local MPs? Because she said she would have acted.
Well, in hindsight,
Monsieur le Président, point d'ordre technique, Monsieur le Président.
Oh, excusez-moi, point d'ordre, j'arrête le temps. Monsieur Arsenault.
J'ai de la misère à comprendre la communication. Je ne sais pas si Monsieur Angus parle un peu vite, là, j'imagine, mais je ne sais pas si c'est moi qui gèle, si c'est mon écran qui fait ça, mais j'ai de la difficulté à entendre de façon, comment je dirais ça, séquentielle de ce qui se dit. C'est comme s'il y avait des petites coupures, là.
OK, d'accord, merci. Donc, je vais demander à la greffière de vérifier tout ça. Donc, Monsieur Angus, est-ce que vous pouvez dire une phrase ou deux afin qu'on vérifie le son, s'il vous plaît? Le temps est arrêté, ne vous inquiétez pas.
I am certainly willing to say a sentence or two, and I hope that none of this comes off my time. Is that correct? I can speak as slowly as you must.
That's correct. It's technical problem, so okay. Don't worry about that. So, Madame la greffière, est-ce que ça va?
De notre côté, ici, tout va très bien pour le son.
Et vous, Monsieur Arsenault, vous entendez mieux maintenant, et tous les autres membres?
C'est la même chose, c'est peut-être seulement moi, mais même quand la greffière répondait, c'était très faible, puis ça a coupé. C'était pas un son égalitaire, là.
OK. Un autre membre a ce même problème. Monsieur Beaulieu, est-ce que vous avez le même problème?
Il me semble que c'était pas si mal que ça, là. Mais moi, ça m'indique parfois que j'ai une mauvaise connexion. On dirait qu'à Gatineau...
OK. Ben, écoutez, nous allons être vigilants, donc nous allons poursuivre avec l'intervention de Monsieur Angus. Je dois vous dire qu'il vous reste un petit peu moins que 3 minutes dans votre intervention, Monsieur Angus. Alors, procédez, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you so much. Yes, I just want to... So you said that you were transparent about the magnitude of the crisis. Madame Joly said she would have helped if she had been told, so I'd asked you given what you know now, would it not maybe have been better to go above the local MPs, talk directly to the Minister of FedNor, because she said she had the capacity to work with the province to help find a solution to this crisis at Laurentian?
So we did reach out broadly in answer to your question, both federally and provincially. We did absolutely work with our local MPs as an important touch point. We have a strong relationship and an ongoing relationship with them, but also reached out directly. In some meetings we were successful in achieving, and others we were not.
She said she would have intervened and helped if she had been made known. And this is, for me, we're looking at something that's been disastrous for our region, and we have a minister who said, if I had been told, I would have been there. Mr. Lefebvre said publicly that in the end, Laurentian has done this to itself with the blessing of the provincial government, and yet we have the Minister of FedNor who said, I would have helped if I had known. So why given the magnitude of the crisis, why didn't you reach out to her and say, we need your help now?
So as I said, we did reach out federally as well as provincially through our MPs and otherwise, and certain meetings we achieved and others we did not. And hindsight can be 20/20, and if we had been more aggressive, more successful, perhaps there might have been a change, but perhaps not as well.
Well, I totally understand. I mean, we're talking about a catastrophe that has occurred here. I had heard my colleague had said that, well, there's stuff with some maybe official languages. Maybe we could look at these programs. But we were looking at an unprecedented crisis where a university was plunged into bankruptcy protection. Mr. Lefebvre also told people in Sudbury that there was, quote, no big check coming. Madame Jolie's put money on the table now. Would it have been better to have had the money on the table before rather than what we're dealing with in this situation now?
So, I think, given the current discussions, I think the efforts that the federal government are making and may be willing to make, I think will be extremely helpful going forward.
I absolutely agree. I think Madame Jolie really cares. I'm just surprised what she said she would have helped, that she was not told. You had met with the local MPs. You said you were transparent about it, that you explained the magnitude of the crisis to them, that was not passed on to the minister, who is the Minister of FedNor for our entire region. I just think that this was a really tragic and lost opportunity.
Merci, Monsieur Angus.